I remember being in third grade, sitting in class in Buffalo, New York, and the teacher pointed to a map. It was in the Florida Panhandle, and she described how beautiful the beaches were here. I was definitely paying attention, and it captured my imagination because as I looked out the window, there were just mounds of snow, probably 3 feet tall. Well, fast forward till when I was 18 years old, I was sitting in basic training, and somebody put a sheet of paper in front of me and asked me where I would like to be stationed for my first duty station. Naturally, I put Eglin Air Force Base. Well, I've been here for over 20 years, and I haven't really left Florida since. So today, I have to tell you about the pros and cons of living in Florida in 2024. So stay tuned. Hey, it's Eric Leitten, Emerald Coast Abode, part-time gopher at What's Up Beach Vacation Rentals. Today, I wanted to talk about some pros and cons of living in the state of Florida. So the first pro we're going to talk about is the weather. I know that's kind of obvious, but I'm standing here in January. It's January 29th. It's about 65 degrees outside. I'm walking barefoot on the sugar white sands here in the Florida Panhandle. I'm actually in Blue Mountain Beach. I was actually married in a beach house. I'll put up a picture of it, but all these beach homes along the beachfront here back in 2010. So figured it'd be good to do a nice walk and I could kind of show you the beach a little bit. But the weather's kind of a given. I know that's not really like a huge epiphany there. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it's also a pro and a con. There's many areas in Florida. We have South Florida. I'm here in Northwest Florida. And the climate in those, just between those areas, between Miami and here, are going to be fairly different, probably to the tune of a swing of 10 degrees difference. Gets colder here. We probably don't have as much snowbird activity as there is down south, just because maybe it's not as comfortable as it is in Miami, Fort Lauderdale right now. But to flip that around a little bit, in the hot part of the season, maybe it's a little more comfortable here in the summer months than it is in Miami. I'm talking the dog days, like the first week of August. It can get really hot. And that could be a con for some people because the humidity gets really high. Our highs in the summertime are normally about 90 degrees. So if you don't like it that hot, there is definitely a prolonged window in the summer between late June and the end of August that are pretty hot. As far as the amount of sunshine that you get in Florida is going to be high, definitely compared to northern states. So if you enjoy getting outdoors, being by the water, getting some negative ions, definitely the state of Florida has that in abundance. No matter where you are, the beach shouldn't be too far away. Now there are some northern parts of the county, it could take you an hour to get here, depending on where you are. But for the most part, any locale in Florida, you're going to have some accessible beachfront near you. So with the tropical weather, we also have hurricanes that I'm sure you may have heard about. And it seems within the past 5 years, we've had more occurrence of substantial hurricanes, if you will. In 2018, fairly close to here, eastward, in Mexico Beach, Panama City, we had a very substantial hurricane. Hurricane Michael hit the area, caused a lot of damage to Panama City and Mexico Beach, Port St. Joe area. It's kind of a mixture of Bay County and the Forgotten Coast over there. And then in 2022, we had Hurricane Ian come through South Florida, Sanibel Island, very expensive part of Florida, caused a lot of damage to the tune of $111 billion. So with the hurricanes being more prevalent now, there's some financial considerations that we'll touch a little later in the video. We saw a substantial appreciation in those years after COVID, appreciation in the 20 percentile for each year. Property values have gone way up, and it's made things less affordable for people. And we all know right now there are higher than average interest rates, and that occurred very, very suddenly. So that's definitely putting some strain on the market. I was reading an article from Business Insider, and it was talking a little bit about South Florida and how the actual infrastructure changed in terms of the type of housing that was available. And an agent down there was recounting that a lot of the new construction was for the out-of-state affluent buyer in the million plus range. So that middle class family, the new inventory is not catering towards them. That's creating kind of a problem or a reshuffling of the landscape in South Florida. With the prices of real estate going up in Florida, the assessments of those non-homesteaded properties or people buying that aren't homesteaded and getting readjusted, the taxation rate on property taxes is being grossed up at a higher level based on those new prices. Layer that in with some complications in the insurance market, homeowners insurance market, condo insurance market. We have storms here in Florida. For years, we've had contractors kind of taking advantage of this. They'll go out and canvass a neighborhood, look for loose shingles on houses. They'll have salesmen knock on your door and say, hey, we just had a storm go through here. Your insurance company will cover the damage. And they get a little aggressive, and it's been a problem. And the insurance companies are coming back and saying, hey, this damage is not covered. This is just one shingle. You didn't need to replace the whole roof for this. And that's getting put into court. So there's a lot of frivolous litigation, a lot of unscrupulous contractors kind of looking to make a buck. And then you have the conservative insurance companies that aren't wanting to give up the house on claims. So that has created kind of a quagmire within the insurance market. Layer in Hurricane Michael 2018, and then the even more costly Hurricane Ian in 2022. You had a lot of insurance providers leaving the state of Florida in 2023. So it's created a service void in the market. And we've seen a lot of insurance rates go up 30-40% in the past year. Now, definitely shop around. The state of Florida is working on legislation to curb some of the fraudulent claims from these contractors. They're making it a little bit harder for these contractors to operate how they have been in the past. And it's creating a more insurance company friendly environment here in Florida. They're trying to attract more providers to lessen the burden on homeowners. That legislation still has to pan out. Time will tell if it works out. But I do know that I personally was able to bundle some insurance together and take about $2,000 off my insurance bill. I wanted to add a layer to the culture here in Florida. And overall, it's pretty laid back here in the Panhandle. As you move into like bigger cities like Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, things can get a little more intense when you get into that big city hustle over there. And I've been down there. I lived in Orlando. I went to college at UCF and lived in Orlando for quite some time. Definitely a different vibe there than there is here. Out here on the beach, they have what's called Destin time. And that's usually where you cut out at like 3:30 on Friday and kick it at happy hour with your coworkers. So it's kind of a laid-back coastal environment. The Panhandle here is very family-oriented. Big military community, pro-military. As you move down south, it becomes a little bit more eclectic, a little bit more multicultural. One critique about this area, as far as those amenities that you find in a bigger city, the art gallery, history, different theaters, is a bit limited. But you typically don't have a beach like this in those bigger cities. So happy to make that trade-off. Obviously, in the Panhandle, we're considered kind of the southern part of Florida. You definitely have Alabama, Georgia influences. Just north of Panama City, you got Dothan, Alabama. It's not too far. the people that are indigenous to the area that were raised here definitely have a little bit of a drawl, especially in that Panama City area. It's a good southern accent there, good folks. So in conclusion, all those kind of factors, the financial, the net migration, the demand because of the weather post-COVID, a lot of people moved to Florida, and it's changed the financial landscape. It's changed the affordability. Obviously, it's a big state. Affordability is going to vary regionally. Fort Lauderdale, I believe the CPI index is 115. That's one of the highest in the state of Florida. Miami's at about 105. And then they had Panama City listed as 99, so a little bit below the national average. So depending where you're at in the state, the affordability of housing and transportation and all that basket of goods that gets put into the CPI is going to vary. But I can say this with confidence after being here 20 years, raising a family here, the weather and the mildness of the colder seasons gets you outdoors more. It's just healthier for your state of mind than, obviously I grew up in Buffalo, colder weather, gray skies, not much vitamin D. Getting outside, getting a walk by the beach, just relaxes the mind. Get to do a lot more outdoor activities throughout the year. So if that's something that you're into, you like getting out and you enjoy nature, I think that it's definitely still worth a look. I'm here in one of the more affordable parts of Florida, which does make it nice. I think there's still a layer of accessibility in the Florida Panhandle. And there's a lot of good neighborhoods. Pretty much the entire Florida Panhandle through multiple counties has A-graded schools. My outlook for the state as a whole in terms of real estate and affordability of living here, I hope that it's going to improve over the course of 2024. I'm hoping that the legislation down in Tallahassee takes effect and more insurance providers enter the market. That's going to improve the affordability of condos, single family homes, second homes by the beach that we're seeing here. And then I'm hoping that the Fed slowly unravels these rate increases and that we get to a better price within the fives by the beginning of 2025. There's a lot of people sitting on the sideline that would like to buy a home, maybe even upgrade, downsize. The market has been the slowest since the Great Recession in 2008. I think there is going to be a lot of real estate activity. So with that said, at this current point in time, the year 2024, for people that have a little cash saved and they're looking to move to Florida, it might be a decent time because of the level of inventory that we're seeing in some of these coastal areas is high. There's a lot more premium real estate in great buildings and in great neighborhoods that was non-existent and had multiple offers during post-COVID time frame. So right now, people are negotiating. Prices are a little soft here, especially in the second home market, but it's a good time to maybe have a look, see if you can uncover some value. This is Eric Leitten with Emerald Coast Abode, part-time gopher at What's Up Beach. Little parched from our little walk on the beach today. But if you have any question about Florida real estate, I'm happy to help. My contact information is in the description below. Please like and subscribe to my channel. If you find my content valuable, I greatly appreciate it. A little bit of sunshine. I'm going to catch this sunset. Hope you're having an awesome day.